B and Ben. Hello everyone. So today I'm going to talk to you about math. No! Oh, for the love of the vlog, brothers, will you calm down? I wanted to talk to you guys about math because math gets a really bad rap, and I wanted to at least make it a little less scary for you all. Now, the things that I'm doing for my math class are a little scary, but they're not, like, the scariest. So I'll just give you a taste for it, and then we'll talk more about stuff that seems to matter. Oh, but first, just to show you guys, I'm wearing a nerdy shirt. And it looks like pi, and then, if you look very carefully, it's the digits of pi. 3.1415923. Stop looking at my chest. So one of the things that I'm doing is I'm going through this book, as I had mentioned earlier. Now there are 6 chapters, and I'm at the end of chapter 2. Notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pages. 10 pages of notes. That's all I have of notes. That's it for 2 chapters. If I turn the book over, we get to the exercises. 1, 2, 3, 8, 59, 59 pages. The scariest part of all that, this is what I needed to prove. That probably looks meaningless, and it took all of that. I'm a little insane. The other thing that I'm doing is I'm offering tutoring services. Payment to be agreed upon in discussion. I would just like to point out how clever this is. Math Eater or theater and math. It has both of them, and I do both of them. It's so cool. Alright. Now, it should be pretty clear that the math that I'm doing isn't exactly the math that you see every day. And it could be argued that it's not the kind of math you use every day. But I'm not actually worried about whether the symmetric difference of mappings of sets is equal to the mapping of the symmetric difference of sets. And even though I technically proved that, it wasn't about that. It was about the tools that were used. Math classes isn't trying to kill you. Math classes are trying to give you tools and teach you when you are allowed to use them. Admittedly, some tools are more like staplers, the kind that you use every day, like arithmetic or probability or statistics. Those are the kinds of math that people actually use on the front lines and use all the time. There are also some math tools that are like screwdrivers that you don't necessarily use all the time, but you would be lost without the tool to trying to screw in a screw with just your hands, and then trying to build something without screws. A screwdriver and screw is so handy, but you don't always use a screwdriver and screw. Sometimes you use a hammer and nail. And knowing the difference of knowing how to use a screwdriver and a screw versus a hammer and a nail is the same kind of difference between using calculus and using algebra. And those are the kinds of tools that are like screwdrivers and screws. Sometimes you go really in depth with those topics in college and you think, oh my god, I don't want to learn this, you're never going to use it. But the things that they're teaching you in college are like the equivalent of going from a screwdriver to a power drill. Like, when you figure out how to use those things, it makes life so much easier. Instead of
powering through and just being like, I'm gonna get this screw eventually. It's like, I'm done. And even though it's complicated and really tedious to learn how to use a power drill, like, you have to learn not to drill in your finger. You need to know when it's going in reverse or going forward. You need to learn that it needs a certain kind of wattage. It's the same kind of detail that it takes to learn complex ideas in calculus or like linear algebra or the things like that. Then there are some math tools that are like the Large Hadron Collider, where only a select few really understand how it works and what it does. And yet those tools are the things that are pushing the frontier of mathematics and figuring out what's possible for us to be able to do and making new connections in the world and possibly solving how the universe works, because mathematicians help out the physicists, like give them equations and be like, you might want to use this, and the physicists are like, that fits so perfectly, thank you. Admittedly, is that necessarily what I want to do? Not really. I just find it really interesting. I do really like math, and I would really like to push the frontiers of math, but I think it would be more important to just make it a little less scary, because people are so down on math all the time. It's like, I know you're not a psychiatrist, but math isn't trying to give you problems. It's trying to give you tools and solutions. It's not asking you to solve its problems. It's asking you to solve your problems with math. We don't do a very good job at it, but it's really cool, you guys. It's really cool. So every once in a while I might choose to talk to you guys about math. And the thing that I would really like to do is to slowly try to explain this one topic that is the kind of thing that you don't use every day, but the fact that we as a culture, as humanity, understand this problem shows such a deep understanding of mathematics and shows such a breadth of knowledge and how math is interconnected that I find it so essential for people to like appreciate at the very least. And this is the equation that I'm talking about. It's a simple equation and is debatably the most beautiful equation in mathematics. You actually saw a glimpse of it, but I'm going to show it to you again.
There it is. The most beautiful equation in all of mathematics. Oh, excuse me while I just, pardon me. I'm getting a little excited. I'm so sorry. It involves all 5 major mathematical constants. It involves the 3 major additive operations upon the real numbers, and in this case, upon the complex numbers. And it involves a deep understanding of arithmetic, algebra, trigonometry, calculus, and series and sequences. It has everything. Understanding why this is essentially understanding all of mathematical education through college. It is the most beautiful equation that exists.
Imagine biking down a beautiful pathway safely during sunset on your way to have an Italian dinner. Oh. Hey. And you get an idea of what that equation looks like to a mathematician.
It's so simple, and it's everything that mathematicians hoped for, and it apparently is.
So this won't happen all the time, and I'll still be putting up like more updatey things and more songs and more those kinds of things, but every once in a while I will be posting a video about math, slowly trying to explain to you guys why e to the I pi plus 1 equals 0 is the most beautiful equation ever. And if anyone wants to start commenting in the comments about what I left out in terms of why that equation is so beautiful, please feel free to add into the comments why it's such a beautiful equation. To those I've never seen, I'm excited to meet you. To those that I have, till the next time I greet you, sweet dreams. And may they not be nightmares about math tests. It's not that scary. I will help as much as humanly possible and make it pretty. Okay, goodbye. There's a squirrel who's chilling out. He just came up the driveway. Hey there, bud. What's going on? You doing alright? Hi. Hi. You're so close now. Oh, I can hear you. What are you doing? You better not be going inside. What are you doing? What are you doing? What do you do? Get away from my house!